Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast, probably one of our most anticipated podcasts of recent memory. Today we are going to be talking about the finale of Dragon Ball Daima that concluded this past Friday. And we are recording the Sunday after. We're also going to talk about some other quick little tidbits that have happened in the Dragon Ball world, but it's mostly going to be focused on Dragon Ball Daima's finality and our thoughts, concerns, and going from there. We got the Dragon Ball expert with us, Mr. Mitch Oso. How are you doing today, sir?
As always, doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay now that I've had some time to calm down a little bit. Still got a lot of emotions, but I think it's probably still going to be the same, but I think it's going to be a little bit tamed down from if we actually were able to record that Friday of the finale.
Yeah. Yeah, it was probably kind of smart not to jump to just right to this podcast because it would have been pretty pretty interesting to express ourselves with that much emotion per se. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So let's just hit the quick hitters out of the way before we go straight to Daima. Mitch, did you read the manga one shot?
I did. I did. I actually just read it before this podcast, to be honest with you. So but I didn't really have a whole bunch of points to actually make on it. Just just a little one shot as to how Goten and Trunks became Saiyaman, X1 and X2. Just yeah, I guess I didn't know that we didn't know how they got to be their superhero personas whenever we were going through that little um the mini arc or that mini saga that we had with them. Didn't even consider it. And then I'm reading it, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is filling in a plot hole that I had never considered. And the thing was mostly, almost all of it was between, Clean God and Trunks. So I mean, it is what it is, but it was just a nice little one-off there. We find out that Gohan, is a clean god fill-in, per se, a sub
Hmm.
for the actual clean god that was sick and couldn't actually report to duty, and then just one thing left added to another. So it was a nice little read, just quick, easy. Wouldn't even think of it too much per se.
Yeah, it was cool. First manga being back in a while. And again, like I think it's what the only thing I'll say about it is like you said, Gohan was a fill-in. He hasn't been like clean god this whole time. Before it came out with like just the raw pictures, everyone's just like, "Oh my God, he's been clean god the whole time." It was like, no, it was just a fill-in. So
It was nice to see the museum of the heroes,
mhm.
the Earth's ancient heroes or whatnot, and that you had what is his name? The gladiator looking dude, that um apparently he was a hero in Earth's past that we are not familiar with. And for people who have watched, you know, um, Z and, season 7 was, after Cell, and this is where Pycon gets introduced. And, we see the same gladiator dude there, and, he's pretty well off and strong and whatnot. And then he gets to the Boo saga, makes an appearance again, fighting against Kid Buu, getting his ass kicked. I mean, rightfully so. It was Kid Buu, but nah. And then I find it interesting though that in the museum they have Goku's silhouette there. However, they don't recall what his face looked like.
Mhm.
Like I don't understand how we don't remember what he looked like. It wasn't like he was hiding his face at all. So I thought that I didn't understand that part, but I guess I was also trying to connect. No, I don't even know. I don't know because they knew his face whenever he returned during the Majin Buu saga. Like the announcer, like he
Well, that announcer did. I don't know. No one else really did over there.
that announcer didn't go to that museum. Did they just make that thing? Like he
They
didn't
could have.
check that out and be like, okay, all of the world martial arts former winners are in here. That's Goku. Yeah, he was there at the 23rd, you know. If you guys need a reference, you can go find a photo of that.
Now, I don't
Goku
know
taking.
what type of photos they were taking then because he won. He
Bro, we had
won one.
Capsule Corp.
I
Bro,
know.
we had Capsule Corp. They had photos.
He won one, came second in two, but I'm just remembering a line that Vidal said. Vidal said she had to really like dig deep to like find out like Gohan's history. And it's like, yeah, the person who won the tournament before my dad was some guy named Goku, and apparently had a son named Go. You're his son, aren't you?
You know,
Like,
if Goku didn't participate in, three like three world tournaments,
mhm,
I could get it. Like if the only one in which he participated in was the one when he was a teenager fighting Piccolo,
mhm.
I get it if there was no photo because they destroyed the whole damn place.
Yeah,
Like I'd understand if that was the only one, or the one in which Goku turned into an ape, and Jackie slash Master Roshi had to destroy the moon. Like I would understand that one because again, a lot of shit got destroyed, and Goku's in his grade eight form. You don't get to see that photo, so then it's like. But whenever it comes to TN, like that tournament, like nothing was getting destroyed. They got kicked out of the ring pretty far away whenever TN hit that car. I think TN hit the car and then Goku hit the ground, and that's how Goku lost that one. I forget, but it's like I don't know. I thought it was
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, because I don't know if you only put the people in there for when they win, or is that even? Well, we're saying it's because of the tournament. Well, those are people who like save the world who are heroes. Because at that point, if we're doing it from that perspective, technically Goku saved the world when he beat King Piccolo, and then
right.
they just got the silhouette. They didn't get his face. There was no pictures taken at that point in time. And then I don't know if you Goku technically I don't if you want to say he saved the world against regular Piccolo in the tournament, yeah, but to them they were all just some of them was like, oh, it's just a tournament, like
I'm
even
just
though
surprised that somebody hasn't connected the dots. Like they were like, okay, so Goku beat King Piccolo, and he's this little, 3'2" tall dude with a tail and spiky hair. And then somebody's like, yeah, he fought in the World Martial Arts Tournament. Yeah, we got photos of this guy. Like
well,
but we also live in a society in the real world here where everyone has a camera phone and everyone click, click, click. You could identify somebody from, take the NFL for example. You got fans doing pretty wild shit in the stands, for example. And then all of a sudden people are like, here's a photo. Who's this guy? And then before you know it, that guy's fired on Tuesday, you know? Like, and
yeah.
considering that you have flying cars, you got scientists who are creating, these androids that can destroy the planet. You got Capsule Corp. Somebody just doesn't have the ability to identify the face of, yeah, just
And the only, which is actually going to kind of just to go into the next segment, the two things, the only time Goku is going to get seen on TV, he looks completely different because he's a Super Saiyan.
correct.
And I don't even remember if no, they don't even know that's Goku. Like only
They
people who
don't.
know that's Goku is
Yep.
Goku because that announcer was ass. Hercule's little personal one, his Michael Cole, as I say, shout out to WWE, but yeah, so that's the last time everyone who like knew Goku from like Ader and all that, like they knew the outfit and all that stuff, but yeah, they didn't know. But I can't believe I'm going to say this. Technically now, that does connect not five, yeah, maybe 500 years from now when Goku has his own statue at the World Tournament, and it is
Yep.
well said that he's a hero who saved the thing many
Yeah.
times because again, everyone saw him save the world against Omega Shenron. That was whatever, and they told stories and
Yeah.
yeah. So, but that's that's GT having its own thing. But let's get into Dragon Ball Daima. Mitch, it concluded. It's over. Last time you and I spoke about Daima, we did the breaking news episode uh, of the Super Saiyan 4, and that was since then a lot has happened. Where do you even want to begin?
Okay. This is how we're gonna start it, just so that people who are tuning in early to this podcast, we can establish our points of view quickly, because as we start talking about shit, I don't want people thinking that I'm absolutely going to trash like Daima. Like like I want people to know like that I am breaking Daima down in a different like manner. So like we're gonna talk about how do I view it from a plot perspective, from a visual perspective, and then overall just, the enjoyment of watching it. So like visually, Daima is the best visualization of this franchise we have gotten. I would argue anywhere. I would say just from top to bottom, visually, we do not have any issues. We don't have um, the renderings of the early days of like Super, for example, with horrible ass Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Beerus, for example. Um, we don't get just, even the bad that we had from Z, from top to bottom, from episode 1 all the way to 20. This was the kind of animation that you see in the movies. However, I would argue that these visuals are better than even the movies. When at the end there, when Goku is transforming through the four transformations, how he looks is phenomenal, for example.
Hmm.
Like when he is Super Saiyan 3 and he is about to transform into 4, the level of detail that you see in that illustration is equivalent to, or maybe it's the more modern equivalent, I should say, to like, for example, when in the Buu saga you had Goku and Vegeta, well, Goku Super Saiyan 2 versus Kid Buu. Like that the drawing for Z, that was like peak like animation. There's other moments like the last episode of Sand Saga, Goku, Cell, blah blah blah. But that's just the one in which I'm comparing here. Daima looks great, and I didn't see anything wrong with Daima. Did you? Like visually?
No,
Okay.
nothing visually. I don't have anything to say on that.
There were moments in which took our breath away. We are like, holy shit, this is amazing, and visually fantastic. Moving on. The enjoyment of it, first 17 episodes, 1 through 17. Every time I tuned in, I'm excited. In the middle of the episode, I'm excited. And at the end, I am excited about what is coming. Definitely episodes 1 through 17. You know, sort of a slow burn at the very first episodes, going into the demon realm, having to travel via airplane, but it was world building and um and then just kind of a regression in terms of like, Goku is so strong. The Z fighters are so strong. There should be no reason for them to ever have a problem against anybody who is not the main villain here. But then, we sort of slightly see like that. this is not just a 1-2 punch and it's done. Like Goku actually has to put in a little bit of work to save that one town where the people are having to fork over money or they have to sacrifice 3 to 9 years off their lives. You know,
Hmm.
it was good world building, and then once we get to the moment that Goma is introduced with a third eye, it just still enjoyable to watch visually, and but then the plot makes it so that I start questioning just what I'm like seeing here. Whenever I start thinking about it. But once I turn my brain off and I'm watching these fights, the enjoyment goes right back up. It is it is awesome to see Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. It's awesome to see Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Like even in this last episode, episode 20, watching Goku do, a full powered Kamehameha, shooting a hole through Goma, and then shooting a hole that connects all of the demon world together got me pumped, got me amped. I'm like, hell yeah, let's fucking go. I need this in a video game right now. So, so
Well,
excited.
you might not be having to wait that long because we talked about as soon as the episode opens, some of the games are like, yeah, we're not waiting. Like Adult Super Saiyan 3 is already confirmed for Xenoverse 2. I just got the thing today, Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle, Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 is gonna be in it. Kakarot released their trailer for Daima like immediately after the episode's ended. So we ain't gonna be waiting that long.
And so yeah, that's the thing with the excitement. So, in the enjoyment of like watching it, would you agree or do you have differing opinion on whether you wanted to break down the episodes, like in terms of like you hated 1 through 5, you liked, 5 through 12, you're indifferent about 13. Not saying you're indifferent about 13. That feels like that's around the Vegeta time. But anyways, regardless. But like thoughts?
I I would say my excitement was about the same for most of the episodes. I was never down excitement. Maybe I was a little up on some because maybe like these final stuff, but it was constant. I mean, it was just the general excitement of look, man, we outside of like die again, a lot of people who listen to this stuff are diehards, some are casual, and most of the Dragon Ball people on YouTube are diehards. Besides some of if you're not a diehard and you weren't watching like Dragon Ball Heroes when it randomly would come up on YouTube. You haven't watched the anime since the Tournament of Power, and that's almost 8 years ago. So this was
Mhm.
the first time in almost a decade where we were getting a weekly Dragon Ball So that already puts my excitement like again, it was a hashtag on Twitter, Daima Friday. Everyone knew if you were in the space, it was Daima Friday. So the fact that everyone would wait for the episodes, watch them, review them, have their opinions, spoilers, all of that, just threw me back into like that Tournament of Power like era of Dragon Ball Super, where every episode everyone was like, "What's gonna happen next?"
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. Hell is the same level of excitement just getting the promotional animes for,
Hmm.
you know, for just Dragon Ball, like, Super Dragon Ball Heroes, just it's good time, man. And then so we talked about, I can't trash it visually. That I'm glad they put the money on it. I can't say that I'm not excited and that I'm not grateful that this is in front of me to watch. And when this gets put on DVD, this is getting bought instantly. It's going to get added right to my collection. And but there's glaring plot holes or contradictions, and this ranges from, maybe the minor to major stuff, ranging from Dragon Ball to Z to GT to Super itself. This whole thing just I would have thought this would have aligned better with stuff, and I'm hopeful for some changes that we'll talk about at the end, but I don't know which one you want to tackle. Which, so I mean, like, let's do episode 20. Episode 20 is the freshest one in our minds.
The finale.
The finale. So Goma versus Super Saiyan 4 Goku. He they realized that they had to smack Goma on the back of the head to get the evil eye out of his forehead. And Piccolo makes an attempt, and he only gets two hits off before he gets swatted away. And then just by just random chance of just being in the right place at the right time, Majin Ku and smacks Goma upside the back of the head, three times with the book in which Rinsu was using to figure out how to handle this situation. And the eye comes out. It falls on the ground. It falls in front of Glorio, and Glorio stomps on it. And I actually chuckled when Glorio stomped on it because this eye has been such a pain in the ass. It has shown how powerful this it is, and he squished it. He squished it like a grape. Like no giant explosion that the moment that it got stomped on, it just sent everyone back, smashing against walls. It didn't rip a tear in the universe, like that. It just little fart sound, and then poof, done. Part of me laughs at that, but then part of me thinks I'm like I expected more out of it, so not really something to talk about. But I don't know how I feel, and this might contradict myself based off of what other podcasts. I don't know how I feel about Majin Ku beating like Goma, because I mean he's kind of been taking the back seat after he got his ass kicked by Tamagami 1, and he had hints that he's kind of a good guy. He's kind of laid back. He's chill. He's happy, strong, but he's smart, but he's basically worthless. And then all of a sudden he's the victor in this giant fight that we've been watching. I don't know how I feel about that. However, then I reflect. I'm like it kind of reminds me of back to Dragon Ball when, very first arc, Emperor Pilaf arc. Pilaf is about to make a wish to take over the world, and in his stuttering nervousness, you know, Oolong like comes and makes the wish for panties. Like that actually becomes an iconic thing later on down the road. But I can only imagine that, like, what a way to end basically the threat of, that was being, it was being told to us. So did like were you content with Ku winning? Because we always have mentioned that sometimes we want other people to have the spotlight instead of Goku and Vegeta, and that's exactly what we got. Do you Is that what you still want to have, or is that in the right direction? Or nope, now that it's happened, I don't want to see this shit ever again. Like,
I was surprised that who was the one who got the hits. And then obviously what proceeded after that with him being now the new leader, king of the demon realm. But I mean, it's shown that Ku knows how to assess people. He's actually pretty intelligent. So it's just like him being the new king. I mean, I'm fine with it. I think I was more disappointed in the fact that Piccolo had to job out for it to happen because in theory, besides, I mean, why was Piccolo even there? He contributed absolutely nothing.
mm-mm,
He did not. I initially, okay, I'm like, all right, three Tamagarians, whatever. So I thought each of them would get a fight. And obviously that changed when the new Boos got theirs in and won. But he did not have a major fight. He didn't even have a major fight against a side character. he did absolutely nothing besides do his typical Piccolo oses. And he
Hmm.
messed up something as simple as hitting him back on the back of the head 3 times. And I'm saying that it's simple because, I mean, Piccolo can make clones. Why don't you just make 3 clones and hit them at the same time? Like, that's what I think I was more disappointed. And I was more disappointed that Piccolo jobbed out and looked absolutely terrible throughout this thing and did nothing.
Up until even the tournament power, but especially the movie, but even in the movie in Superhero, whenever he gets Orange Piccolo,
Hmm.
he's pivotal to them beating Cell Max, but he still he still was getting his ass kicked. I mean, whenever he's going up against forget which one he went up against, Gamma 2? I think he went up against
Yeah,
Gamma
too.
2. It's like, you know, he he shined in that moment and but we're Daima didn't do anything. We had Namekians. Like we had a overpowered Namekian
Hmm.
in Neva. Now, if you're trying to make Daima canon and you're trying to jam it into the timeline, then yeah, I guess you can't really do much with Piccolo in terms of power levels. And you try to give him a little bit of a shine here, but like you said, he became the jobber and he didn't come through when he needed to, and it's not like he didn't learn anything. If he went infused with Neva, just be like, Neva, you're about to die, man. Just come on in, bro. Just join the crowd, okay? We're just going to become the most OP, Namekian of all time, and then we're already going to start conflicting with Super, so we'll figure that out later. But
Yeah, that's another thing. But no, I was fine. Again, that Piccolo jobbing just wasn't a fan. The whole series wasn't a fan of that. So,
no. So we get to the end, and Ku, um, he starts divvying out responsibilities to people. And his first order of business as new king is that he takes Aransu and makes her basically vice president, vice supreme demon king. I didn't like it. I didn't like that apparently she is getting off sort of scot-free. I know she hasn't really caused any problems because it was Goma and it was Degesu.
mhm.
Yeah, Degesu. They were really the antagonists, like who actually affected the Z fighters, from the Wish to kidnapping Dende to, I mean, threatening, trying to take Dende away. Blah blah blah. They're the two who get punished the most. But she has bluntly said that basically she is evil, that she wants to make the demon realm super strong so then she can basically roll both the demon realm and the other world. Like, she ain't a good person. She's completely self-interest. But you got everybody here. You got Supreme Kai recommending that she should be, the Supreme Demon King. You got Majin Ku putting her semi in charge of things, and I'm like, are we ignoring all of of all of her ambitions? Like, she ain't good. So, all right. So now we're just kind of blowing that away. We're shoving that under the rug, and Daima season 2 is going to be pretty crazy when she overthrows Ku.
Well, you're
And
thinking, well, you think there's a season two.
eventually, there'll be something. I don't know if it'll be called Daima, but we're going to go back to the demon realm, I would imagine, at some point. I
Huh?
mean, I don't know. I just we finally get to demon realm after we've been jam packing the video games with all this. Yeah, I feel like you still have a lot of things in the demon realm that we haven't talked about yet, or been exposed to, or it was talked about but wasn't shown. But that's more things that we can talk about here. But yeah, I didn't care about Q getting the job, but then whenever he was, you know, dishing out responsibilities, I was like, okay, this is everyone gets a participation award apparently just for being there. I'm like, okay, gotcha. And then after that part, that was whenever we started seeing just the groups, um, the final little group saying either their goodbyes or whatnot. Pansy gives Bulma all of those Demon World crystals that allow, their ships to, function properly. So that'll basically allow Bulma to create ships that can get them back to the Demon Realm on their own. So okay, that's fine. But you're connecting you're connecting everything together through Bulma. Totally fine with that. Um, Going back to the Piccolo thing, Neva is asking Dende and Piccolo if they want to stay in the demon world. And I would have really liked to have had significantly more dialogue between Dende and Neva. Like I would, if I was Dende, I'd be like, okay, I got a billion questions. One, why were you a prick and helped his ass out and turning me into a child? And then why did you endorse or not do anything about them kidnapping me? You know, I'd be like, Dende, you need to press this guy to kind of, own up to some of his actions or inactions, for example. And you need to learn from this dude. This dude is significantly stronger than you and all of the people on Namek, and Guru didn't know shit compared to this guy. This should be your mentor. Like, like you need to stay there. You ain't doing anything on Earth. You're not like you tell me one thing that Dende has done on this planet other than edit the amount of wishes from the set of Dragon Balls. I'm like, nah, bro. You go to summer camp in the demon realm and you learn from Neva for a moment. And nah, there was just I was disappointed there was no true conversation regarding this whole show was based off of trying to save Dende.
No, I agree. I mean, I I got to a point because I think that was later on in the ending.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a string of disappointments.
I want to take a step back before I continue on with those conversations. I did find it interesting though that whenever they captured Goma and Dagesu and they were about to basically send them to jail for 99 years, I found it cool though that they sealed them away using the evil containment wave.
Hmm.
And as everyone knows, that the evil containment wave was created by Master Mutato, back in even before Dragon Ball to seal away King Piccolo. So then Dende is the one who recognized the evil containment wave was being used. Got a problem with that, but regardless. So the evil containment wave it is either a demon world originated technique, in which if that is the case, then we need to then explain how I'm going to pronounce his name wrong every single time because I don't remember acoustically what it sounds like. Uh, you know, Mutaito, how did he learn it? It says he invented it on the wiki, on the Dragon Ball wiki. It says that he invented it. Did he invent it and somehow he got back to the demon world, or did he visit the demon world in the past and learned it there, or I don't know. So there's a little Dragon Ball plot hole or inconsistency that I have a problem. But also, why does Dende know it? Why did Dende recognize it? Like, you showed the screen of Dende and Piccolo is, I mean, he teaches Goku later on. Like, right? No, no. Ignore that. Ignore that. Cut it out. Anyways, no, I'm joking. No, but like Piccolo knows about it just because King Piccolo suffered from it, and but Dende there, who has never seen it, I don't think this is common knowledge. Yeah, he's never seen it, and he recognizes it. So did the people on Namek know about the evil containment wave? Uh, I don't know. It just another plot point that now I'm just shaking my head, just confused about. But oh well. Also, then with the ending, we get, as they're departing, we get Goku and Vegeta talking, and Vegeta is basically pushing Goku to explain, the Super Saiyan 4 transformation. And Goku basically says that after he fought Kid Buu, he just went back to training to get stronger. And I'm going to use my own words here, so take it as it is. Goku basically says that like he knew that he could go Super Saiyan 4, like he felt that he could do it, but like he wasn't sure if he could. So then what did Neva do? So Neva's not the reason for Super Saiyan 4 now. He was just unlocking, the potential as we had discussed. So it's just I'm like Super Saiyan 4 is now just an off-screen transformation like how Goku got Super Saiyan 2. Except Super Saiyan 2, at least you know, we knew it was coming just because Goku or Gohan had it. I don't know. Thoughts?
Well, in all honesty, because I know you're going at breaking it down like spot by spot, but again, I understand how some people wanted to sugarcoat it because obviously it came right off the anniversary of Akira Toriyama's passing, so they felt like if they said something disrespectful or yeah. But then there were some people who were truly real about how they felt. At that point, that's when the ending to me became some of the biggest pieces of dog shit I have ever seen in Dragon Ball media. Like right now, for me, out of Super, GT, Daima, Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball Z, and if this is the last thing they ever do with Daima, no movies, nothing else, this is the worst Dragon Ball ending of all time.
Oh yes. Oh
And
yes.
I don't think it's close. Like GT's one actually almost like gets me emotional because they show like the whole Goku's whole life until like the end. Like then Dragon Ball, he gets married. Dragon Ball Z, he goes with Oob. Super, we get the Until You Meet Again because we know that's tech. We know Super the series is not done. But that point, it was just terrible. Like that pissed a lot of people off. It made the ending super underwhelming because it's like that makes no sense because of when this was placed of what people are saying and people's huge obsession with the word canon saying that this is happening in the years before they meet Beerus and Super starts, which makes absolutely zero. And now it makes zero sense on how
Yeah.
this is connected to Super, which really pisses me off because all those people who were I don't know what to call them, entitled, saying like, oh, who cares about GT because it's not canon. And no, Daima's canon. Now is it? Now is it really? Because this is the most continuality errors that I've ever seen in a Dragon Ball thing. And that's saying something. We're not talking about Goku saying in the anime that he's never kissed Chi-Chi in the Goku Black Arc when you could literally go see a clip of him kissing Chi-Chi when he wakes up from the heart virus. Like we're not talking about something small like that or something. We're talking about whole transformations, whole experiences, whole people not
Mhm.
being used in Super or talked about ever. And now that I'm starting, now it's bringing me back to Friday because I actually am starting to get really pissed because now I'm thinking at a point where it's like, why the fuck did Goku waste his time? Krillin's sure best friend, or whatever, but like Tien and Master Roshi, why the fuck would I get Tien and Master Roshi when you could have just went to the Demon Realm and asked for one of the Tanagiri, the
Yep.
fucking people to go fight in the Tournament of Power? Because they are stronger than, and let's just be honest, they're not making, Tien and Master Roshi are not making Goku and Vegeta go Super Saiyan 2 and 3. Like if they're
No.
being serious, but these guys were pushing them, and obviously they would have gotten stronger because we know how Super is. Everyone magically got stronger. So those, I bet you those metal things are probably Super Saiyan Blue level right now. And that's all you need to be worth the shit in the show. But and then why didn't you bring them into the team? That could have made them more fortitude. You're telling me that Neva, with his powers, couldn't find some magical way to wake up Majin Buu? Come on
Yep.
now. Or Nissa could have woke up Buu. Or Booing. Or the Boos down there. They're probably significantly stronger. So that alone pissed me
Hmm.
off so much, and it's all coming back because look, and you'll hear on the wrestling thing. Friday, I was super pissed, and then Saturday, I was super ecstatic for when my favorite wrestler won the chamber and he's going to WrestleMania, and then the shit that happened at the end. We'll talk about that on a different podcast. So then I was back to normal, and now I'm pissed again. But no, that part pissed me off to the hugest extent.
And as we had discussed, there was a way for them to, to set this up so that everything moving forward would be fine. And that is just they have to forget. They have to forget
Yes,
the demon realm. And people had speculated, including us, that Neva was going to do a mind wipe. Now, whether
yes.
it be Neva or they use the Dragon Balls after they leave, or regardless, a mind wipe is all you needed to do. And then, when Black Frieza comes, you can somehow reintroduce four and just say it was for blah blah blah. But they didn't do that. They didn't do shit at the end of this episode. And now here we are complaining about it. And obviously, maybe Toritaro can fix it later on, but it's like, are you it, I don't know. Was it part of the plan? Like, do they already have the entire script down the road and how they were going to address this? Or is it now that we're bitching about it, they're like, oh shit, the people who are supposed to be our QA or our QC, quality control, who are supposed to, check for, issues or contradictions, they're all trash. Oh shit, here's one they didn't miss, and it's the biggest fucking thing going on that hasn't been addressed. Um,
Yeah, and I think Syriax said it best, a YouTuber who's into Dragon Ball, does now he's done some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, but said it best, you can like Daima and hate the ending because that ending was fucking terrible. It was god awful.
I need more people to think that about episodes 18 through 20.
Yeah,
It's
god
like,
god awful.
yeah, I mean, it's just like everywhere I go, I go to Hype, I go to Geekdom, I go to Chronicles, I go to whomever, and they keep putting out these polls. They're like, what do you think of the ending? Rated on a 1 to 10. And I look in the comments and people are like 9.5, 10 out of 10. This is the best thing since Avengers Endgame. This is great. And I'm like, why are you guys acting like this? This is not glazing. I like this is beyond glazing. I truly think that this is like somebody's mental state is not sound. It's like are you just enjoying what you're seeing but not thinking about it? And and that's what gets me worked up is thinking about it. It's just
No, yeah, then like some people who are like telling the real stuff, and even a lot of there's just so much. I mean,
now now
go
I've
ahead.
said this to you. Here's a very simple solution to all of this. And Toritaro would have to either say this, and we'd have to find this out in like Daima season 2, or if Daima was translated into a manga and this be worked out. And that is, I don't know if I stated this on the last podcast, but here it is that while Daima is considered canon, it is not the timeline in which we have watched from Dragon Ball through the end of Z. It's not it's not on that timeline. It ends after, you know, Z per se, but it's its own timeline. And where this would all connect is that in all of these games, in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, we have Super Saiyan 4 in the promotional anime specifically is like where I'm referencing connecting these dots is that we have a Xeno Goku and like a Xeno Vegeta who work for the Time Patrol and they fight various individuals from the demon realm who are trying to alter time. And they're Super Saiyan fucking 4. Like that is what Daima is basically setting you up as. So you can make it canon by saying that Daima is Daima is the the key piece that connects the television shows with the video games and the other media. So then you have a multiverse, like a true media multiverse that is like that of Marvel and like DC, where you have multiple iterations of characters with different stories that one story fits this comic and then it fits another one. And then, you don't just have one singular like linearity, but that's my suggestion on how you can fix this, but it's not fixed. It's complete shambles right now.
Yeah, you made it worse at the end than it was at the beginning. And I think with now with people, you really gotta decide, I guess, when it comes to because we say again canon because it was written by Akira Toriyama. That's the only difference between GT and all the other stuff. It wasn't written by him, but I mean he was told about the project, but he wasn't the one who wrote it. So they're like, oh, it was never made into a manga. Well, shit, right now Daima's not been made into a manga. So what the hell are we about to? If Daima's never made into a manga and never mentioned again in any projects, what there's no difference from this than GT.
Yep. Yep, I agree.
And shit, GT was mentioned a lot in Daima because in the interviews they talked about how Daima was heavily inspired by GT.
Yep.
And that's so for the people. So I guess for the people who said GT don't matter, if GT didn't exist, Daima wouldn't exist. So I, I don't know, man. It gets me more mad because it's just like we talked about when Goku went for because we talked with the premiere when he went as a kid, and then when he went as an adult, like you already talked about, and he was doing the stall tactics with Goma because you know calling again a lot of callbacks. We've noticed there's a lot of callbacks to like famous scenes throughout the original manga. This was Goku or the anime. Goku going through the transformations, one, two, three. And we're like, oh shit, this is about to go down. And then when he sent in a bonus, we're like, wait, what the hell? How are you getting this? We thought Neville was the only reason you can do this. And then he just transforms and like it's not shit. There's no like shown thing of him getting used to the form or anything like that. It's just easy
Yeah.
peasy, which
Yeah.
made no real sense to me because it's like this is our first time seeing you in that form as an adult.
Here's things that conflict with themselves, and I don't understand why. It's like, why did we not see any sort of like character or transformation limitations from Super Saiyan 4? Because Goku had never achieved it like until that moment. But
Yep.
like for example, it is part of the plot point as to why Frieza lost in his golden form the first time. He got the transformation and he trained for 3 months or whatever it was, and then he beelined to fucking Earth and got his ass kicked because he couldn't keep his breath. But Goku has no problem with that at all.
There's limitations on Super Saiyan 3.
hmm And they talked about those. They
Yeah.
talked about that it burns through energy, faster whenever they were saying Vegeta doesn't have too much time left if it's Super Saiyan 3. And I want to know why. I think I think once Goma got there, things got way too fucking rushed, and this needed to draw out for like 5 more episodes. Anyways, but like, why was the evil third eye able to obviously heal Goma? We literally watched it de-transformed Goku Super Saiyan 4, but we never saw any of that kind of power again.
Yeah. Like, why didn't he do that again?
Yeah, like I don't know. It's like it wasn't fleshed out. It was just like, okay, we have our drawing board here, our concepts, and we have a giant list of concepts. Okay, we're not going to flesh any of this shit out and try to work it into the story and make sure it doesn't conflict with it. We're going to just jam it in there real quick. That was bad. That was bad. Oh my God, it was bad.
Yeah, and then Vegeta trying to be different, like, oh, it's Ultra Vegeta. Shut the fuck up, dude. It's Super Saiyan 3. It's okay. You literally have
I will say, I will say that that Ultra Vegeta though,
mhm.
and I'm kind of fine with him making that joke because if it were to manifest in his mind all through Super, and that's why he calls it Ultra Ego. You know, it's like like Vegeta is getting sick and tired of basically being behind Goku. So then he's like, no, I'm not going to call it Super Saiyan 3 because you have Super Saiyan 3. I'm going to call it my own because my hair goes up, yours goes down to your ass. And it's me, it's not you. I'm not following in your footsteps. I am doing my own thing. I don't mind him saying that only if it connects to why he calls it alter ego.
It's a
That's
big
just
if.
yeah.
Yeah, so that again, it was just the ending just makes me more and more mad because it's like it leaves us with a lot more questions than answers among anything. And then people trying to defend it saying, oh, Dragon Ball's never cared about canon. Toriyama's never cared about canon. He's stated this before, bringing up the same thing people say in these situations. Like, that's fine, but you can't have it both ways when you talk about when you're having a Dragon Ball debate and argument saying, well, that wasn't canon. Well, if you care about canon, then and then you say like, oh, because the author did it, but then you're saying the author didn't. There's a lot of contradictory there. And then
Yeah,
also too, the stuff that was not, I don't want to say promised, but teased, never happened. Those fusion bugs never happened. Not at
yeah, I
all.
don't
We are supposed to see some fusion. That never happened.
yeah, it's yeah, again, I was convinced that we would because they were shown in like episode 4 or 5. That's
Yeah.
whenever they were shown, and Goku, as he's fighting Goma, Power Pole falls to the ground, the bag of bugs falls to the ground. I can't remember if we actually distinctly saw the bugs as they fell, as that bag fell. I can't remember, but it was just like, yeah, it was teased, and maybe in season 2 that'll be. That'll be the thing. But again, I think it would have been way more satisfying, story-wise if we just had a Super Saiyan 3 fusion to assist in defeating Goma. But, you know, it's now here's the thing. I'll play devil's advocate just for that point. I sit here and talk and say I like it when things are like set up and established well ahead of time, and then these things can be, built like the world can build up to one another. So maybe them just introducing these bugs that do fusions will lead to another epic moment down the road. So, but it was just bluntly getting in your face that this fusion was going to happen. Even the times in which they were building Gohan's character with that he has this hidden potential. You literally always saw it or the preview of it. You saw him beat the shit out of everyone. I'm just saying everyone. I'm not even listing names. But then it really skyrocketed with Cell.
Hmm.
And but I mean, you can't just show me the picture, the sales picture of these bugs and that they fuse with, multiple people. Whoever eats these bugs, they're all going together. So it's like Namekian level shit. But yeah. Even the post-credit scene, we haven't discussed that. That was actually fairly annoying.
That pissed me off even more because it's like, all right, looks like they haven't left the demon realm. Like you talked about the point where you know, when Pansy gave Bulma the new stuff, and then whatever, they're in there, they're in the shopping thing, they're talking about the bugs. The lady who looked at Goku's like, "Dang, he must have grown quick," because she didn't know that he was an adult more than a kid.
Hmm.
And then we're just gonna skip Bulma being afraid of bugs until she finds out something about him. And then she's like, "Oh, these are great." But Pansy and them, they see this glass jar, think nothing of it. You dust it off. What the Lord and behold, what do you fucking find in there? Just the all-powerful thing you were talking about 30 minutes ago. Random third eyes.
Yep. Yep. You want to talk about, as Vegeta's mentioned before in this episode, Super Saiyan bargain sales. They got third eyes for sale. They got two more left, and they are and the crew are looking at this like, what the fuck is this? And that store lady, she is like, yeah, they're kind of mysterious, a little suspicious, and they cost a lot. I sold one a long time ago, and yeah, I haven't sold them since. I'll sell you the other ones for discount. She offers to sell those motherfucking things for discount, and they're just staring at, and it's like I don't, I don't know how I feel about something so powerful apparently so common. Like this
No,
shit can be.
no, no. It's absolutely asinine because if you really think about the amount of hell that demon eye, that third eye put them through and Goma put it in his head and all
Hmm.
the fights and like the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, the little version, the Goku, the little version, and Goku Super Saiyan 4, the little version, all of them ganging up on him and his continuous healing. And then adult Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 fighting and doing what and then the healing, and he was running out of stamina. And then Goku Super Saiyan 4. Like you said, man, Goku Super Saiyan 4 hit him with and you already said it, hit him with a Kamehameha so hard that it went through his chest and went through the entire demon realm.
Yep.
And that didn't kill him. He just healed up and was fine. Like the fact that artifact is so strong and you just have random ones there to convenience store at their basic 7-Eleven in the demon realm. That's bad because that means Deborah could have just went to the store before Babidi swooped him and then he would have been stronger the entire Boo verse and Babidi would have not even have needed Majin Buu.
Who even knows if that's the only ones?
Yeah.
We're at a random ass convenience store that originally sold them a freaking what is it? Seed. I forget what it was called, Their flying seed that launched them across the map, whatever. Who says that these are not everywhere? People don't just have them sitting in their keepsakes or in another jar at a convenience store or buried in the backyard with a fucking dog bone. Like everyone has these things apparently. Honestly, it makes the demon realm a little more, shall we say, scary because it's like if one eye gave the Z Fighter so much, and it seems like everybody can have these fucking things. Yeah, the demon realm might be the strongest universe-esque thing out there. Like
Well, it
they
should be their mission. I don't know. Goku and them are probably gone, but it should be Pansy and Glorio's mission to go through the entire demon world and destroy every single third eye. Because if the wrong person gets another one, they do not stand a chance.
Oh, if like Arnsu, if she finds out that there's more eyes,
Hmm.
she's gonna seek them out. If anything, I would hope that Daima season 2 comes and we learn that they can't leave yet. They got to figure out more about these eyes, and they got to make sure that everybody like they got to go gather these things. These have to be the new Dragon Balls. They have to go find these and collect them and destroy them before they can go home. Which then that gives the writers another chance to fix all of the shit that we've been bitching about.
Yeah, I really believe, and I made the thing that like the Dallas Mavericks for people who listen to NBA or anything like that when they traded Luca and the GM's like, fans won't care that much. And then to see the outrage, there's no way they thought that ending was going to be like universally praised. Not a
No.
chance. Because that ending, I've seen the complete opposite. People being, I know you've seen the people saying like they're praising and all that. And I do believe most of that's like animation and all like the cool stuff. But like when you just look at the context of the ending, it makes no sense. It makes the show worse than what it was previously. And it just leaves so much openings. And God knows the next time we probably will not get an explanation because there's nothing for the manga. There's no
Yeah,
talk of another show.
we have not been in this kind of situation since 2015, where we have no movies announced, we have no anime announced, we have no manga announced.
Hmm.
It has been 10 years since we've been at this point. This is a drought at the moment if it wasn't for the video games.
Yeah. And again, like you said, there's
So,
no movies. Not like even when
nothing.
Super even when Super ended, we've gotten two movies since we got Broly and Superhero. And like
Yep.
the way they did with Superhero, like of course, when Superhero came out, we people speculated when does this come out in the timeline? And we were just like, well, it makes sense that this would have it had to be when Goku and Vegeta are off world. And then once the manga came, when they redid the manga, they confirmed our thing like, hey, this happened after Granola and me and what is his name? Moro.
Yeah.
Because yeah, this happened, those two things happened, they're off world. This happened. They connected that all in the manga. And like you said, it could be done, but I don't think they're gonna do that because where the hell you gonna start the Dragon Ball Daima manga at? Like when we still are waiting for the super manga to return.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I know we talked about an alleged rumor of a movie like earlier in 2024, but I don't know if that interests me because it's like, what's the movie going to be about?
Yeah, I don't need a movie. I need an anime or a manga.
Because again, just more of the contradictions. Goku telling Beerus to his face, Super Saiyan 3 is his final form.
Yep.
Obviously, that is, if this is the same, that is a lie. Why is not Super Saiyan 4 been used before? Because, like you said, there's been no drawbacks, zero. We can understand, and like you said with this one, like Goku training, it's like, oh, I knew it was there. I don't know. It's just ass because, like you said, besides Super Saiyan, now you can make a case. Besides Super Saiyan 1, Goku 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken. All of those have been attained off screen, really. And then we saw like Ultra Instinct happen live and all that. While in GT, you put all the lore of Dragon Ball into Super Saiyan 4, bringing it back to the original Super Saiyan, the Great Ape, Supreme Kai. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah, in terms of the transformations, the only ones that we've seen that have occurred in the moment, Super Saiyan 1,
Yeah.
right? Super
We're
Saiyan
doing
2.
Goku, right?
Yeah, well, just through each one. So it's like in terms of Goku, yeah, just Super Saiyan 1.
Mm-hmm.
Super Saiyan 2, you didn't
Yep.
see that with Goku. You saw that with Gohan.
Yep. For the first time.
Um,
Yep.
you saw Super Saiyan 3 occurred off 4 off screen. Um, Super Saiyan God,
I mean,
not off screen.
it was through
It was
the
spur of the
ritual.
moment.
Oh,
Like, man, I'd say spur of the moment because, like Goku had no clue throughout the entire movie that there was a technique of divine origin. Not like he did the Vegeta route. Vegeta got his off screen, but regardless, Blue off screen, Ultra Instinct. We knew Ultra Instinct in principle, but until it showed up, I mean, right in front of our faces, and not like you had that one moment where Goku and Vegeta clashed fists, and then, but well, no, that was Super Saiyan Blue. I
yeah.
digress.
That's blue.
Yeah, that was Blue. Um, yeah, I mean, we saw it for the first time. that anyone else had seen it. So four, he stumbled upon. You know, he had no clue that four. Yeah. So the only transformations, Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 4, the only transformations that Goku stumbled upon in front of our faces.
It's,
GT Super Saiyan 4.
yeah, GT. Yeah. And again, it all made sense. I mean, when all those things happened with the GT, with the blood waves going back to that, and the
Yeah.
moon being the reflecting the earth and Pan, and like all those things, and the Elder Kai, and it just makes things piss you off, man. Like, because you're like, what are we watching? Like, what are we really watching? And then people will say, again, the people who don't want to have the conversation that the ending was ass are like, oh, you're taking it too serious. It's like, just admit the ending is ass. It's okay. Like, you're not shitting on
Yeah.
Toriyama and his legacy just because the ending was ass. Like, it is okay to admit that it was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say it's just so because now again we're just sitting here. We're gonna go to this Friday. There's gonna be no Daima. There's nothing in the month of March. And again, we there's no to be determined. The next
Yeah.
anime, manga, any project. Right now we have the video games, and maybe that's why they're pushing, letting the Daima release dates, letting you know like stuff's coming in the summer or spring because we don't have anything. But no, man, that ending is still that's gonna be sour. It's gonna be really, really sour because we don't see Super Saiyan 4 mention of it again. We don't see Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 ever mentioned again or shown. Uh, no Demon Road talk at all. So, no, I just. And I think the thing that pissed people off about the Super thing too is like, I forgot they talked about that other creator, like that other big god. I think I don't forget who, I forget she's in charge of. But
Oh,
like
wait, are we talking about Super or what
Demon
the
Realm. They showed it like in the Demon Realm. They
Oh
showed like
yeah,
the
like the original Demon Realm King wanted to expand the universe, and then he basically tasked what appeared to be the Omni King's father in creating the other universes. Is
yeah,
that what you're talking about?
yeah, like that guy because he was like yeah, it looked like it was like he could be Omni King's dad. But then you see like the pictures of all like the Supreme Kais and all that stuff, and you blatantly see Goas. You see the Supreme Kais on there that were mentioned
Yep.
in
You see
Super,
Glossu and even the Gods of Destruction. One of the things I believe.
and then they literally talk about how this is called Universe 7 in this, but then magically and they forget that their universe is called Universe 7 later on. Come on, man. Come
Yeah.
on.
Need a mind wipe, or need this to be a different line in the universe.
At this time, I think it has to be a different line. I think Mind Wipe would have been best. Mind Wipe of everything. I think that would have been the best ending. Would it have been a cop out? Absolutely. But it would have been a good, understandable cop out in the situation you were in. Because it made no sense for Neva to touch Goku's chest, not knowing a damn thing about the man, really, and activating something in him for Kid Super Saiyan 4. And then Adult Super Saiyan 4, Goku said, and again, this transformation was amazing, saying, and a bonus. And then he just goes into that crazily. And then again, he calls it Super Saiyan 4 officially at the last episode. And no, no, no. It makes no. And I know and again, I texted you, I was just like, man, I think we're all anxious and hyping up for this finale. And it's not, we need to temper expectation because we were all like, man, what if the post credit scene is Moro or Beerus or them getting a mind wiped? And it wasn't shit besides random third eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just so disappointed in that. I haven't even rewatched anything. Like, there's some stuff from like fights and stuff, and like the dialogue. Goku's like, oh, just that dialogue is just terrible. Like, oh yeah, I've had this stuff. It's just It made no fucking sense. No sense. But again,
Nope.
that's we said that 2 episodes ago when we did the breaking pod. Like, how are you going to answer all these questions in 20 minutes? And you didn't. You didn't even answer one question.
I don't know.
Just ass. And I also am wondering, I mean, I really don't have a problem with it, but I know a lot of people, millions of people. Where are the people bitching about it, going back to the Goku and Vegeta show? Because even Bulma really didn't do much, and Piccolo didn't do shit. So where are those people at? Oh,
It seemed like Bulma was going to at the beginning, and then it just fell off once again. And then Daima stumbled into as Daima progressed, it just became, Goku Vegeta. Because it wasn't like that.
no, no.
Gloria was involved, Pansy was involved,
Still didn't explain. She saved him from the third. That's really it. That's the
Yep.
reason. Like that reason was terrible.
Yeah, I needed to see her get way more mad at him. And like even after they beat Kawasu or Goma, Kawasu, even though they beat Goma, there should have been more tension there or
Hmm.
something. So, but nope, nope, not at all, not at all. And there's just so much they did good, but then it just tumbled, just tumbled, and that's oh man, how do you get 100% score as I have said through episodes 1 through 17, and then you get like a 50% story wise, 18, 19, 20. Oh man, it's like the opposite of what Super did. Super started off like shit and then got really fucking good a long time later.
Hmm.
What a backwards fuckery.
And again, even with the super thing, we had issues with the tournament of powers pacing because we're taught again, Ultra Instinct, the most powerful, let's say, technique right now in all
Mhm.
of Dragon Ball. It makes no sense how Goku goes from incomplete to mastery in a 48-minute time span. That makes no sense.
Nope.
And we talked about that too at that point. So it's like we're like, what are we doing? You don't have to. If you're gonna rush this stuff, I think you need to pick and choose where you
I
rush
was
things.
someday I will need to rewatch everything. Like like as a grown ass adult, like
Hmm.
because have I sat down and watched all of Z since I was, since we were kids? No. I
Oh, I mean, we rewatched it in college.
we I watched, yeah, well, we watched seasons 8 and 9 because, people that we knew had not seen it.
Hmm.
But I mean, I have not watched since I was a child all of from start to finish, episode 1 all the way to whatever it is, 290 something. The Sand Saga, Frieza. I've watched plenty of YouTube, like,
Yeah.
YouTube clips. I have pieced together all of Z and how I've watched it, but I have not sat there from episode 1 all the way to the end and watched it. Because the reason why I say like I need to do that is because I need to see if it felt like all of these scenes, all these situations spanned across many episodes. Like it felt like shit was drug out. Like if you were to ask me, like, and I didn't sit there and think about it, how many episodes, for example, was Gohan fighting Cell? And then how many episodes was Gohan in the beam struggle with Cell at the end? I would tell you that Gohan had to have been fighting Cell for 10 episodes, and that beam struggle itself had to have been like 3 to 4 episodes. Like just that moment. Like, and what that has caused me to do is to think that these stories have been drawn out. Like the story is being told to me as it's being written and not how I feel like it has been. And that is, oh, okay, here we are in production. We only have the budget for 20 fucking episodes. So all of the ideas you want, you gotta cram them into 20 minutes. You gotta leave a lot of shit on the cutting room floor and not make sense, you know? Like I don't know if my logic and thinking about how Z was is affecting how I think everything else should be. Because for all I know, I'm going to go watch Z, and Gohan's only going to fight Cell for 3, 4 episodes, and that Beam Struggle is only 2 episodes. You know, I don't know.
I would also equate to remember, shoot, them doing 2, 3 episodes in the anime, that's like 10 to 14 chapters.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
that's a crazy thing too. And you just mentioned him too. It's kind of wild how one of the most popular characters in Dragon Ball history was not in a series at all.
He wasn't even shown, if I recall, during the credits when they were
No,
showing everyone back on Earth becoming adults again, or
no.
like, their pre-age. I mean, it was pretty funny seeing Chi-Chi standing because she's made a kid again, but she's standing on her stool cleaning dishes because she was small, and then all of a sudden she becomes an adult again, and then it's like she's a grown ass adult. Like that shit's funny. But I don't remember seeing any of Gohan in
No.
that. But they did illustrate him though for the announcement for like, Daima. When you saw the crew in all their adult forms or whatever,
Hmm.
Gohan was in that. But never saw Kid Gohan again. So
Just wild. Like I get it. They made. I like how they put more emphasis. Like think about this. Now I'm getting mind blown. They put more emphasis in the first episode to explain why Gohan was probably not going to be in the series than they did explaining why Goku and Vegeta got these random ass forms. And while anything else in the demon realm makes sense, put that in perspective. I don't think anyone said that.
no. There's way more shit was fleshed out. That was either minor or major. Way more shit was fleshed out than, Super Saiyan 4's the explanation of Super Saiyan 4. Like you got the history as to why the Namekians left the demon world, but you couldn't keep the same logic or storytelling regarding the history of the Saiyans and keep Super Saiyan 4 the way it was before.
Dude, they explain how the Supreme Kai was born. No one has ever cared or asked about that.
Bro, they mentioned in when they were in Demon World 2, those giant demons that they were fucking fighting,
Mhm.
that they were not even the biggest, strongest of the demons. They mentioned another race of demons that we did not see. And that is almost the same amount of freaking backstory that we got whenever it came to Super Saiyan 4. I'm like, come on, come on. We saw the Namekians, not their home world, but where they lived. Like, we are fleshing out a lot of shit here, but we can't, these transformations they can't be fleshed out. The things that people truly, 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 truly care about, these things.
Yeah. Yep. And it's just crazy, man. It's no one has any explanation. No one, people are like, oh, why didn't he use it against Beerus? It's because, and then people saying stupid shit like, oh, it's because he knew it was weaker. Weaker than what?
Yeah, we
Weak.
literally just watched Super Saiyan 4 decimate Gowasu, or I keep saying Gowasu, Goma. I mean, actually, I'll say this: like everything was beating the piss out of Goma, but like Super Saiyan 4 was definitely beating the piss out of Goma. Super
Oh
Saiyan
yeah.
3 was too, but definitely Super Saiyan 4. So no, it's not weaker. As far as I'm concerned, I have not been told that it has any of these stamina limitations that Super Saiyan 3 does. Because remember that's what they addressed back in GT, if I recall right. That
Mhm.
once Goku got Super Saiyan 4, he was never going back to Super Saiyan 3. Unless that was with like Super Saiyan God and Blue. It's like, why would you ever go to 3? Puts too much toll on the body for transformations that are way better than it. So
Yeah,
nope.
like and I said on the previous pod that like Super Saiyan 4 was so strong that it was able to break the magic of the Black Star Dragon Balls.
Yeah. But
And
not
it
this Super Saiyan 4. Nope.
and pushed him back to adulthood. And now it's just crazy because Game Rant's talking about how Diamond needs to get a second season, like you said. Again, this is word for word. Apart from a binding spell or atmosphere restrictions, a memory wipe is another plausible explanation on why Goku never used Super Saiyan 4 after Daima. Of course, after that ending, that is out of the window. It is bad, man. Diamond, this is a screen rant. Dragon Ball Diamond had the perfect explanation for Super Fan 4, then the finale ruined it. And me and us at Screen Rant's like, eh. But that's the perfect title. You could
Yeah.
have said it was Neva's magic and it was a one-time thing in the demon realm, and but you're right. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah. At
That
this
we
point, I wish they just told me that it was a dream. Like they just woke up and like, wow, that was wild. Going back to bed now. Like
Yeah.
maybe
Mm.
not, but still.
Oh my gosh. And then I don't even so they're talking like the Super Saiyan 4 wiki has been updated on just a normal Dragon Ball wiki. But they talked about, man, in GT, you had to do a lot. First, you need to know how to become a Super Saiyan, the legendary transformation. Then you need to become a Great Ape. Then you needed to be able to transform into a Super Saiyan as a Great Ape and then bring it back in.
Yeah.
And then
That's
I'll
good
hit,
story. That's good storytelling.
and then instead of accessing through a deeper realm of power inside oneself, that's all it is. Also, it does not forcibly age up an adult to say their usage. That's all they said, man. This is wow. Oh boy.
Man, what a time though. But I'll say that I'm still there's a lot of shit that needs fixed, but I am still happy that we got Daima. It was still enjoyable to watch. The parts that actually advanced and the world building was good. Toriyama's send off, the project that he was passionate about, you could see where it was fantastic, where his influence came, and it showed us the things that it reminded us of the stuff, that made us fall in love with the series. So I can't, yeah, I can't I can't forget that, especially with his passing. If he was still around right now, we'd be critiquing it just the same way. But
Oh, a
it
lot
was
of people's other tunes would be different.
yeah, there would be.
So I think that's that pisses me off the most.
His passing is masking, I think, people's. I think people are letting their emotions dictate their dictate their thoughts on it. They're like, but that's the thing is that even with like artists, like
Mhm.
paintings, like people who used to paint shit, it didn't become a piece until that person passed away, and then all of a sudden everybody thinks that this piece is genius. it's fantastic. Nobody can beat it. No one can replicate it. But it was like when the person was alive, like you didn't have that same thought. But I think that's what people are doing with Daima a little bit. But still, it's like
Yeah. Again, I agree. I'm happy Diamond came out. Again, I was just happy being in the weekly Dragon Ball Daima Friday. Like I'm not gonna forget that. Like it's crazy. It was every week, October to February, which is crazy now thinking that February we're about to be in March. We are in March 2025 recording this. And I enjoyed the stuff. Like there was like Vegeta Kid Super Saiyan 3 was crazy. Like
yeah,
Bulma explaining that like, oh, he's been training all this time. Okay. And then maybe and then again, super hype. That was one of those big hype moments. And then they went on their little break, but then maybe that was just the chink in the armor, like, all right, we're gonna have to explain why Vegeta never used a Super Saiyan 3. Okay, maybe blah blah blah. But then the whole rest is just like, what the hell? And again, enjoyed Daima, but the ending was just dog shit. It was terrible. It was
yeah,
terrible. It's okay to admit it. It was just so bad. It got everyone talking one way or another. It's just confusing. It's just confusing, and I don't know what they're gonna do over there. I know right now it's promoting Daima DLC for all the games, but that ending was terrible, man.
yeah, very bad.
And like
So
Goku just saying, "Oh, I knew something was there." Okay, see, this is the problem too with when there's Super Saiyan 4 over the GT one. You knew about the Bloods waves turning them into an ape, so they got their tails, blah blah blah. Makes no sense that Super Saiyan 4 looks the way it does in Daima because why did you magically get your tail back? And then it
right,
disappears at the end. Like yours isn't making sense. Because when Neva was like, oh, it's a magical transformation. Remember, everyone's saying it's a magical transformation, and then that got shitted on in the finale.
yeah,
So that's crazy. Like Goku didn't explain. If Goku would have explained, like, oh, yeah, the tail comes back because I tap into the great ape thing and blah blah blah. Because shit, Broly in the Broly movie made more sense because they talked about Broly tapping. He's able to tap into the great ape power as a human, hence why he's omegally crazy. And his eyes change. We're like, oh, this is the closest thing we've got to Super Saiyan 4, then Super Saiyan 4 and Super, and then here we are.
yeah, man,
Shit, Tournament of Power. Now I'm just thinking about all the stuff. Tournament of Power where Goku showed Kefla and Kale Super Saiyan 3 and they started shitting their pants. He should have told them, oh, and a bonus. And then he should have showed them there's something beyond 3.
yeah. He should have told them that Super Saiyan 3 was garbage, but
But what the hell? Like now you're just thinking of all these moments. Like what the hell is really going on?
yeah. Well, that's the thing is that now all we can do is pray that there is a Daima season 2
Yeah.
to address all of these headaches and or some sort of announcement or just something that's like this is the while all of these are canon, they're also separate. And then I'll be like, okay, fine. Lazy, but fine. So
Anything else, man, before we keep on going?
no, no,
No. Oh, and for people wondering, obviously, we do know it's the year anniversary of Akira Toriyama's passing. We are going to do something for that on a different podcast. We just wanted to make sure we focus this one on the
yeah.
Daima finale, but we are going to talk more about that on a different pod.
Yeah, we'll probably talk. I imagine that we'll probably talk about that sometime in probably April
Yeah, around
because
his
his
birthday.
birthday, yeah, April 5th, you
Hmm.
know. So it's like so yeah, well that's whenever I anticipate. But then also, we give ourselves a month there
Yep.
since then and hopefully some news will come to be. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Mitch, do you think that Kamehameha is the new you know how the internet is. Now it's the new greatest one of all time.
nah, nah. Don't get me wrong. It's up there. Like it's visually like awesome. It's sweet, but I mean, it's it's not clever, you know? I mean, it's no different than just a normal ass Kamehameha. I mean, Goku put his foot in the ground, dug it in, and shot that thing at him. And then I'll tell you, I'll tell you, like how they drew it might be more superior, but like Goku's Kamehameha against Tamagami 1, that was
Hmm.
pretty legit. That was pretty amazing because again, like we like Goku's a little kid. We don't know how strong he is. The Tamagamis have been we've been told of how intense they are, and then Goku just blasts the shit out of the Tamagami and
Hmm.
just solidifies himself and actually wins that fight with it. So I mean, but no, I can think of just so many more better Kamehamehas like in the moment. You know, the classic Goku Vegeta, Galaga Kamehameha, the Warp Kamehameha, against Cell. The surfing one versus Kefla, and even the one that that I think of right now, like when Goku was Super Saiyan, he did it against Frieza. And Frieza
Hmm.
was battling his way through it, and then darts off to the side and punches Goku in the fucking face. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah, I just again, that's funny. Every time they're like, "Man, this is the greatest."
this is the greatest one ever. It's sweet. You should get pumped. You should get amped. This is pretty fucking real here, but let's not put it in our top five greatest Kamehamehas or even, top five Goku Kamehamehas. So
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's anything
I'd
like
argue
that.
Goku's first Kamehameha after he watched Master Roshi and he did it against a car and all he did was dent it. I'd say that one was more awesome. Like,
Yeah. Again, I just think again, big budget 2025, you got the animation to make it look cool, so make it look cool. Just imagine if all those Kamehamehas that we talked about had this had were made in 2025. So
well, whenever you're a $1 billion franchise, you better be getting the fucking you better be getting to work whenever it comes to the
my
anime.
only question is now seeing all the backlash from the finale, I wonder if the English dub will change any sentences when it gets to that point.
I guess you'd have to decide if you think that they're still recording or are they already done with it.
That's a real good point. That is a good point.
So I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah. Well, that again, ending was not it. It was not it by any means, and it is okay to admit the ending sucked. It is all right. You want better endings. If you keep going along with the crap, you're just gonna get more crap. You gotta let your voice know, like, hey man, that ending was not it. You guys gotta do something. And I know you shared something with me like for some hope later on that it could be rewritten. It can be, but that's just a lot of work.
Well, shit. Sometimes people gotta work to make this shit work. So
Yeah. I mean, freaking Moro did the granola. I mean, the Goma magic before him. He de-transformed him.
yeah.
And we didn't see no Super Saiyan 4 or Goku or Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. None of that. Goku showed Jiren the Super Saiyan forms, and obviously he didn't go to 3 because 3 needs a lot more power up, and that just would have taken energy, which is fine. But he went base 1, 2. Apparently 4 doesn't do that much stamina, so why don't you just do That, and if you want to say in this, because this Super Saiyan 4 is completely different than GT. If in this one, oh, it's weaker than whatever. But again, you're not showing me the drawbacks. Like, because Trunks over there is a Super Saiyan 2 or Enraged Super Saiyan 2, whatever. He was able to fight toe to toe with Goku Black as a Super Saiyan Rose, which is equal to Blue, and an Immortal Zamasu. Kale and Kefla Khalifa and Kale as Super Saiyan 2s, then Keflas, they were able to fight toe to toe with Super Saiyan Blues and all that. And we know what Broly was doing against Super Saiyans, red, blue, all of the above. So again, if you train hard enough, these God powers don't mean shit. Just trading these sand forms and G and Super would just be just fine.
Yep.
Because it makes no sense. Broly in his base was able to fight Vegeta in well, base with the Great Ape power was able to fight Vegeta as a Super Saiyan God in his base form. He fought Goku as a Super Saiyan Blue in his base form. Come on now. You're telling me if Broly got Super Saiyan 4 right now, I think he'd be the strongest person in Super Saiyan wise.
Bro, I just saw this on Instagram and it's funny. I'm looking. Um, this person decided to help me out here. I don't know this person, I'm just saying. They put the ratings for each episode
Okay.
in a single slide for me to look at here. And episode 1, 8.2, and then I'm just going to keep saying numbers. 7.7, 7.4, 7.6. Episode 5, 7.8, 8.2, 7.5. 9.1 was episode 8. That was when Goku got the first Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then 7.6, 7.9 is episode 10. 8.1, Vegeta. 9.1 going Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah.
And then 7, 7.2, 7.3, 7.5. Episode 17 was 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we go. 18, 9.4. And then 9.6 for 19. And then
Okay.
8.7 for 20.
That's a
The
point.
exact opposite of what I am telling people is what these ratings are. These ratings, I don't know. Maybe CRB. Maybe CRB is like in charge of all that shit. So I don't know.
We'll see. But now, thank you for listening to the L7C podcast. Maybe because I know there's still a whole lot more to talk about. Maybe we'll talk maybe a part two of this on what again we would have specifically. I know we already talked about it, but like how we could connect everything in a better way. Because right now this isn't making sense to anybody. But maybe that'll be something we do in the future. But
Yep.
thank you all for listening again. We will have our Toriyama tribute probably around his birthday, and then we'll go from there. With that being said, L7C Podcast signing out. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C Podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.